It does.
Sometimes we just gotta catch up with the community. I got you. Right.
We're actually not in the conversation. Sorry about
Somebody ring?
that.
We're ready to go.
Finished up. The whole thing.
Oh, I haven't got it.
We chatted a little bit.
Last
Good too.
week.
That looks good.
Can folks hear us online?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. A little bit past 8:30, so let's go ahead and begin. First, hope everyone's had a wonderful summer. School is in session as of
We'll start back Monday.
Monday, so next week. So the last couple days. So we've got an end of year report. We're just starting off with today with welcome and introduction. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start. My name is George Redmond. I am the chair, CCPC chair. I also serve in the role of the Buncombe County Sheriff's Attorney. I'll move to the left.
I am Angel Redmond, George's oldest sister. And I'm
Here we go.
and I serve as the Parks and Recreation representative.
Sergeant Craig Loveland with the Asheville Police Department, and I serve as the Asheville Police Department designee.
Don Johnson, I'm chaplain at the Buncombe County Detention Facility.
Sandra Whitmer, community member.
Elizabeth Kraft, community member.
Hannah Ledgerton, Youth Justice Manager with Buncombe County Justice Services and staff support for the JCPC.
Judge
Judge.
Tyler, I'm with the communications team. Karen Pearson with Restorative Services, Buncombe Alternatives Teen Court, and Earn and Learn Community Service Restitution. I need to change our names.
Good morning, I'm Louis Lindsay. I'm the new community liaison with Pivot Point WNC.
I'm Ty, the program director at Pivot Point.
Richard Caro, the operations director for Umoja Health, Wellness and Justice Collective, and also representing UNITE for JCPC.
Susan Dotson Smith, Smitty, this court judge, family court rotation. Sorry to be late.
Corey Harmon, juvenile court counselor.
Alicia Calhoun, juvenile justice.
Sylvia Clement, Chief Court Counselor, Juvenile Justice.
Angie Garner with Gaia Health.
Lorraine Williams with DJJ Community Programs. I'm an area consultant.
All right, let's see who's on virtually. I can't necessarily tell.
Good morning, everyone. Michael Morrison, General Community Member.
Get it, Michael. There you go. Hey. Yeah. I appreciate you.
Hi, Robin Frazier, Aspire Youth and Family.
Robin,
Natasha Abwaters, Children First Communities and Schools.
Natasha.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Noria Armstrong, Chief Equity and Human Rights Officer for Buncombe County. I apologize for tardiness. I'm on my way in right now. See y'all shortly.
Eric Robinson, Asheville Housing Authority.
Good morning. This is Rebecca Smith. I'm with Health and Human Services.
Good morning, y'all. This is Drew Ball with the Buncombe County Commission.
Good morning, Jess Supik, System of Care Coordinator and Buncombe County Child Collaborative.
Yeah, this is Jeremy Bricker with Claire Vita and Mental Health Rep on board.
Good morning. This is Grover Hill, System of Care Family Partner.
Morning, I'm Deja Cheney. I'm an intern for Buncombe Alternatives and a fellow for the manager's office.
Kim Castano from Aspire.
This is Susanna Knox. I'm with the I'm an assistant public defender. Thanks.
Fit it?
I believe so. Do we have a DA map?
We did, but Denninger has left the office. So I need to reach out to see who's in place now. That'll be on my to-do list.
It should be Zach O'Halloran. I'm happy to reach out to him about it, if that would be helpful.
I'll send an email.
If you can CC Todd and me.
Yes.
Can I say, welcome to Commissioner Ball. We're glad to have you. And congratulations to Deja Cheney for becoming the Buncombe County lead fellow. Deja, are you able to remind me what LEAD stands for and if that's the right acronym?
Yes, it's LEAD for North Carolina. It's a fellowship program through UNC Chapel Hill that places recent grads across the state to work for their counties and municipalities.
Go Heels.
And we have Kadaya Ross joining online as well. Good morning, well, I don't think she can hear us yet. Good morning, Kadaya.
All right. Thank you all for being here, either virtually or physically present here. As we go through the agenda, we do have a review and action of the June 11th, 2025 board minutes. I believe Hannah sent those out. If you need time, I can give you a couple minutes. If you have already read them and feel like that there isn't any more edits or revisions that need to be made, we will entertain motions.
I don't know, with that Chapel Hill comment, I might.
Oh, Judge.
Hey, I went to UNCA. I did not go to Chapel Hill.
Go Bulldogs. Does that help? Does that help?
There you go. Yeah, help Asia. Good job.
Okay. Virtually, they're spot on it right now.
I'll move to adopt it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. All right. Unanimously approved. All right. Sylvia, we are going to go a little bit outside of the agenda. Some of the TJJ individuals need to be introduced and then go back to where they need to get started on work. So take it away, Sylvia.
Do you want me to do mine?
Go ahead and do your, yeah, do it all.
Perfect. So numbers are about the same, no major changes with our juvenile justice numbers. Want to also say that we are preparing for the new school year. We met with the Asheville City School Superintendent. That went very well, Judge.
Thank you.
And so we discussed a little bit about, well, a whole lot about the JJ procedure, and she talked about truancy, and Karen, I did tell her that we had a process in place, and I told her that we processed 37 kids through, and so she wanted to know where were the other 300, so I told her we were working on that. So, but other than that, it went very, very well with her. We also had a SRO meeting, our annual meeting with the Buncombe County SROs. That meeting went very well, a different vibe, but it was good this year. So we're on the move with them, and we plan to have a check-in hopefully again around December, George, is that right?
That's correct.
So, and we did have an opportunity for the JCPC programs to present their programs to the SROs. They had a lot of good questions. Very excited about the program, so we'll see how that kicks off for the school year. Also, and then we will be meeting with the Asheville City Schools SROs on Friday. Assessments are going77 Youth Villages offered us 22 slots, and we filled 13 of those, which put us at a 77% of completion. So we thought that was pretty good. What else? So lastly, I think I reported in June, we had a couple of positions to fill. I'm happy to say that we have filled those positions. We have 2 new employees here today. We have a court counselor supervisor Alicia Calhoun, and then a new court counselor, Corey Harmon. And I will let them introduce themselves and give you a little bit of background about themselves, if they choose to.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Alicia Calhoun, Court Counselor Supervisor. I've been with the department for over 10 years. Had various roles, worked in the detention center, starting off, youth development center, court counselor in District 22. Went back to detention as a supervisor, and now I'm here as a supervisor. Happy to be in this county. And I'm originally from Rutherford County, so down the street.
Welcome.
Well, be nice to her.
Yes. No need to go back over the mountain.
Yeah. She doesn't have to go back anymore. She's settled here. So. Corey, you want to?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, everyone. I'm Corey Harmon. I've been with the state for a little over 10 years now. Started out with the Department of Adult Corrections. And that's kind of where my background's at. I was a case manager, program supervisor, and member of the prison emergency response team for several years. And I'm just looking to transition into this career and hopefully help on this side of things. So,
welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions for anybody?
Sounds like a good change.
Okay.
So what's the total number of counselors you have?
We have 6. Yeah. A total staff of 11 and 6 court counselors.
And what's the book they're reading? Are they reading the book?
I can't remember right now.
Just had to ask.
I meant to look at that, but yeah. And the book club is up and running too. So.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to share with us, I guess, when that book club is meeting, anything like that, in case anyone else has any free time that wants to, or is it a exclusive club? It's
No, it's not an exclusive club, but we're kind of I don't want to say pop-ups. They meet every week for 6 weeks, and then the last week they'll have like a celebration. Normally it's on Wednesdays. So yeah, we're just kind of figuring out which day of the week we're meeting. But it's going well. Anything else? Any other questions? Thank you, guys.
thank you.
And get a bagel on the way.
All right, so as we go down on the agenda, the next thing we have is JCPC updates, conflict of interest forms, which is what we always do. Do you have those here, sign, or those virtual? No.
I apologize. I was out this week and came back especially for y'all today. But I do not have the JCPC conflict of interest forms printed out in hand today, but I will both be sending those out electronically. You can sign them electronically and send them back to me. Or if you want to print them, scan them, sign them, or, sign them, scan them back to me, that's fine too. And I will have a stack here in person in October. I know that we always are super diligent about making sure everyone who's at allocations has them, but want to make sure that we have everyone on file at the start of this year as well.
So you're gonna email them to us, is that what you said?
Any questions as to conflict interest? Obviously, we know why. Good morning.
Good morning.
We make decisions, allocations, money, all that kind of stuff. We got to make sure that we don't have any sort of interest in any of these programs that we have financially. So anything that we do, we just do diligence.
And if there is a connection to a program that you have, just put it on the form and it'll be taken into consideration when you may be asked to abstain from a vote when it comes to allocations times or something specifically related to a specific program that you have of interest in.
All right, so we'll be on the lookout for those coming through an email. Again, you can sign electronically and get those back to Hannah. Next JCPC update is the 6-month program implementation reports to be done for October and February. And I believe these are for the programs. Is that right, Lorraine? Want to tell them a little bit more about what that entails? I think they started some of it last year, is that right?
I think all of the programs at this point have done the report at least once, and some have done it more often in various forms. I know it's changed as it's gone along, and I've worked with some to make it more consistent. And so you all had decided to do it once every 6 months. So in October will be at the next meeting would be your next one. And we'll send out a reminder and another copy of it.
And potentially in the future, it would be a September date, August reporting date for the previous January through June. And then for February, it'll be for July 1 through December 31st.
So you don't need it today.
If you have it today, you are ahead of the game. You can get all the points.
I'll wait till October, but that's okay.
Okay. But I know that it was really helpful to have all the programs have given that extra reporting and detail for the allocations committee to respond to back in March. So I know it's something we've been working towards having kind of the system in place for the JCPC. So thank you all for all of your work and feedback on that.
Any other questions or concerns from any of the programs regarding that 6-month implementation report?
Can you repeat that, Hannah? So it's January of this year for October?
In October, we'll just have you reporting on the last 6 months of the previous year, January 1 through June 30th.
Okay.
And next time, in place for next year, we'll have it that report will be given at the August meeting.
Gotcha.
Just making the system get set up in place so we didn't spring it on you at the last minute for this meeting. And then the February one will capture July 1 through December 31st. And that way, with it being in hand in February, that'll be the same time as monitoring, and then have the allocations committee have it prepared to review for the allocations hearing in March.
George.
Yes.
So the narratives, because we reported in January with the implementation report. So it's duplicating. Do you want current narratives and current financials?
That was discussed at the
That seems-
JCPC Executive Committee meeting.
Right. You said financials and stuff, I think.
I mean, for this fiscal year, for
Yeah.
like January
If we're reporting
1.
on January of last year through June, that's redundant. Don't y'all want current information on our programs?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think the purpose of the implementation report is to just give a more itemized breakdown, I think, of these programs, how they're affecting, who they're affecting, so we can see the efficiency of them. The numbers, obviously, all that matters as to the current. It's just hard to stay current. We're always trying to catch up the back end. And so this one's a little bit wonky because we're going to try to fix it as we go to the next year.
If you think it would be beneficial to report in the first quarter of this fiscal year as well, July, August, September.
Just turn that into.
I think that the council would probably welcome it.
Right.
Okay.
Just don't want to.
Yeah, if it doesn't stop at June, it just goes all the way through, then obviously any information, more information y'all are able to provide helps us in making those determinations for allocations, monitor, all that kind of stuff. If you have it, we just don't want to bombard you with all this sort of extra homework that's obviously needed for data purposes when we get it anyway, but there's certain times that we kind of want it, the timing of everything.
And there is room on that form to be able to put anecdotal things, because I know when you all were doing your report out, you know, having the programs report at the meeting, and you were rotating that around, it seemed like those presentations were always kind of getting put off until the next meeting or squished or that kind of thing. So to make sure that you can give great updates about some of the good work that's happening, you know, and not having to wait until monitoring in the winter to do that. So that's another thought for it.
Any questions, comments virtually about implementation report? No. All right. Next on our JCPC update would be the new member orientation.
Yes, and we have, and so we have, we have some new members that have joined over the past few months, actually, towards the end of last year, you all had a couple of people that joined the JCPC, and then some new members that started just recently. And so as part, one of the things I do as an area consultant is offer a new member orientation, and I will send out some dates to newer members for those. But there are a couple of coming up on next Tuesday, the 26th, from 12:30 to 1:30. I'll do one online for folks who want to join. And then there's also one that my colleague Megan Webster is going to do on the 28th. I believe hers is at 10 a.m. And again, I'll look at the list and just send these dates and to newer members, and you can let me know which ones you want to join if you're available, and I'll email those to you. And then I've got a third date that is in early September. So, and I will go ahead and just send those 3 dates to you all and a link.
Would you please send to me as well, because I'd like to make sure that the new DA and I think both of the judges who are kind of working this with me have attended regularly, but I don't know if either of them actually ever attended the new meeting, the new orientation, which I think has a lot of good information. So if you just send that to me and I'll forward it to some likely candidates.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah, and if there are any members that want to come again, or have further questions, it's a good opportunity to just learn about the JCP, the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, and its purpose and its role, because you all do play some specific roles in fulfilling sort of legislative mandates and that type of thing. And you are working in conjunction with the commissioners, you're representing them. And so we just go over some of that, go over some juvenile justice trends and that type of thing to kind of acclimate you to the JCPC so you can get more out of the meetings and contribute more. And you all have wonderful members here in Buckinghamshire. So I appreciate hearing all the different perspectives and love watching the work you all do together. So.
Thank you, Lorraine. Did you say that to everybody?
Only the Chapel Hill
people. So again, the 26th, 12:30 to 1:30. For people that have already done an orientation, you can do a refresher, and for all the new members, that could be your earliest. We're in about 5 days. There's an orientation, and then a week on the 28th from today, from 10 to 11.
The one on the 28th is from 10 to 11. Yeah. And the one on the 26th is from 12:30 to
1:30. So just keep an eye out on your email. You may just want to send it out to everyone, because some people may just want to.
That's true.
Get a refresher. Thank you, Lorraine. Next comes up is vacancies and recruitment. Looks based upon our members and attendees list that vacant is our youth member that we've always had a problem finding. Take out time.
We had a lead on that, didn't we?
We've had a few leads. I think it's really hard for people under 21 to commit to something that is recurring on a Thursday morning at 8:30 in the morning. So we've had interest, we've sent them information, and then
radio silence.
But Deja is our young member.
We're not asking ages, but you are considered young.
I believe unless you've had a recent birthday, she counts as our 21-year-old.
Okay.
I'm actually 22 now.
Oh, happy birthday.
I was gonna say 21, but.
But I know folks have thought about, younger adults who they work with, and who might be interested. Always feel free to connect us. I can send the information to them. And I know we've had folks in the past who, if they need a more robust internship, we've had many members of the council who've been interested in offering to help make that happen. And we also understand that it's not always an easy commitment for somebody who's in a lot of changes and transition.
I would love to see it come out some of the programs. So I just would do a shout out to all the program leads as well as DJJ to try to identify someone in that area who maybe it could work. And we've tried to be creative about, they don't have to attend this meeting. Maybe they can attend 4 quarterly meetings or 2 meetings instead, but submit things. figure out some way to make that part of their service, community service issue. I mean, I think that there's a lot of ways we're failing in this area. I'll just say it. It has been a real challenge.
Gotta hit up the schools, UNCA, any of these schools that are in there anyway that, I mean, they aren't really looking for money, but are looking for that experience, perhaps for resume or anything. And it's just gonna have to be a revolving kind of door. That's just one of those roles that I think we can turn over based upon it. But if we can get into either Montreat or any of these local schools that individuals are concerned and have interest with juveniles and with children, I think, so we'll try to put together a list of the schools around here and the contacts, see if we can at least go that route as well. Programs, obviously, if y'all have any heavy hitters that are doing an excellent job, wanting to continue to expand in their roles within y'all's programs, just let us know as well. At least we can perhaps talk to them about that role.
Is that something that I could help with? Because I still have contacts with UNCA and some of the departments, so I can reach out and see if they can put that in like the weekly newsletter.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a quick question, are we straying away from local candidates that may be away at schools like UNC Chapel Hill right now because they're not physically present in the county?
I could take that question up to our clerk for the Board of Commissioners, because it's an official board or council of the Board of Commissioners. To be an official member, there are some normally an expectation to live in Buncombe County, but if their home base is Buncombe County, I could definitely ask our clerk about that.
Okay, because if so, I do have a lead on one individual, but he is away at Chapel Hill right now, but he is locally in Arden. So just let me know. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Is that okay, Judge?
Yes. I think we are in a situation where we need you. Reaching out to the colleges and then going back to the programs in the high schools where we've got people who are also trying to track into the undergrads so that we can create an internship or something like that. I think we need to keep.
And George, I'll get with Deja, but we have 2 teen court trainings coming up in September with high school students from North Buncombe and Nashville High coming. So Deja, we'll get on that and get a application from Hannah.
That would be great.
We have some homeschoolers as well that it's a
They have more
I knew
flexibility. That's
where
the
you were
way to
going,
do
Judge.
it. Yep. Think outside the box.
We'll tap into our homeschoolers because they do have this time free in person. So
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And then just a welcome to Commissioner Ball.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Drew.
Honor to be with y'all. Thanks for all your work.
Any questions, any comments, anything like that you want to share?
I'll just share that, we had made JCPC appointments and realized that we had a commissioner slot that needed to be filled. And given the important work that you all do, was eager to put my name forward to be part of this and just look forward to the work we're going to continue to do together.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for stepping up.
All right. It looks like as we move past the JCPC updates, we're getting into the FY 2025-2026 committee assignments, which is always a wonderful time of the year.
George, you sound really excited.
Well, I am. I remember being in roles where it was voluntold, and I didn't even hear that word until I got into the
hear that word either.
I got into this council, and so I love this moment.
Yeah.
But without further ado, obviously we have certain committees. We have planning, monitoring, and allocations. We need to have obviously individuals that are on this council participating and being involved in these committees, so you kind of understand what we're doing and the purpose of this JCPC council. I'll start with Angie, planning. Kind of tell us a little bit about planning and how many times you meet, just briefly about the committee.
Yeah, so it's that time of year, and the planning committee, so I chaired it last go round and chair it this go round because really I feel like we have a lot of unfinished business and continuing business in the planning committee, and we just wanted to keep it continued. It's So with the planning committee, you know, we review all the data that comes in through juvenile justice, the YASI data, the risk and needs assessments. We really pour through all of that data, what's happened over the past year. And what's new-ish that we've been able to look at and trying to frankly get more of a handle on is the RED data, the racial equity data. And that's pretty important in this work and especially in this county from some of the data that we've looked at and pulled from the last few years on the planning committee in racial equity. So we meet, I don't want to scare anyone off, but the last year we did meet a lot initially because it is a lot of data to pour through. The good thing is I am able to pull some of the data into a spreadsheet that makes it a little easier to look at and pull some numbers down. But I would say that we probably met around 6 hours, but not in one day. We split it up. And no one ran away. Everyone still attended. So that's a positive. People still came back for the meetings. So we are hoping to receive a little more data and really informational training around the racial equity piece. I'm looking at you because Sylvia's already spoken with Crystal, who's the RED, I don't know her
Specialist,
yeah,
I believe.
Specialist
For the,
of the state.
for the North Carolina
Racial
DPS
equity.
Division of Juvenile Justice.
So Lorraine and Hannah are working on trying to get, she met with Sylvia and her folks recently, and probably Judge, no, I was not there, but I know
Judge was not there.
Okay. And so we're trying to get a meeting with her as well. She did meet with us a few years ago online. Unfortunately, we had a lot of technical difficulties and it was really challenging to be able to understand what she was saying. She couldn't hear us. So we have requested that she come back in person to help us really pour through and understand this data. So we're working on getting another meeting with her that will help to inform us as well.
We do have a tentative proposed date. Lorraine, I believe that's Friday, September 12th. And yes, I have this conference room reserved between 12 to 4. I know that for a lot of folks, you know, an hour and a half is kind of the typical commitment. So potentially being able to schedule that from 12:30 to 2. But I can hold the room for longer in case people have extra questions or want to dive in deeper. I believe when Crystal comes, she's able to commit to being here for a good amount of time to help folks dig into the data deeply. Does that sound like what we've been working towards?
Yes, Friday,
Friday, September 12th.
And I know when that thread, it looked like there was an hour for orientation, JCPC orientation, and then a deeper one. And so I was confused about whether that can be worked during the lunch so more people can attend and then follow up maybe with planning on deeper dives the rest of the afternoon. Is that sort of your?
So from my understanding, how Crystal, how North Carolina DJJ frames the RED data work is that they frame it as a training. So they both present the Buncombe County local data as well as provide like the training around how to look at it and recognizing that data is generally the starting point for deeper conversations and deeper questions that get raised from that starting point. So I think that is more related to how Crystal and the state frame the training component that comes with the distribution of RED data that they provide. Does that sound accurate?
Yes. If you expect the first hour to be the PowerPoint and then you might get into the questions. I think that was part of the challenge we had at the last presentation, which is it seemed that the surface level information was what we spent the whole hour on, and we have a group that was ready to ask some questions, I thought.
Yeah. And I think the good piece too, Judge, is that she'll be here in person. Yeah, that's what
Is the red data updated, or is we gonna be going over the same stuff?
Same stuff is what I'm hearing.
Or
It'll be last year. So we had we had 2 years ago was when she presented online. So this will be last year's data. We have, and I know the biggest question from when we got just the paper version of the data last fall was that it was based on complaints and it was only based on complaints and didn't have both complaints and individual young people. And there was concern about, in cases where there were stacked charges of 60 charges for one young person, like what those numbers actually meant. So I know that we've been talking, Lorraine's been in conversation with Crystal about that, and that's.
Lorraine, I don't know if you want to add anything, because I feel like that's a very specific request that we've been trying to get over to them that doesn't require a meeting or training. It's send it back to us. And I'm not sure I'm hearing that that's.
I'm wondering if, since they are still preparing last year's data that we anticipate getting at some point this fall, if that question can be, provided for the previous year's data and then reflected in
this year's, that would be a great.
I have spoken with her about that, and so what the data that we all receive each year that's pulled is what the federal government requires and asks from each state for their racial and ethnic disparities data. So it's pulled by complaint because that's what the federal government asks for. So that's why that report has that. When Ms. Wynn Lewis, when Crystal comes and speaks to us in person, she adds more to her presentation and also puts the regular numbers. And that's why it takes a little bit longer for that piece. I know last time it was really hard not having her here in person and trying to do that. When I spoke with Crystal, it sounded like the new data for for 24-25 was is going to come out right around that time, but she won't have time to do that in a presentation. So September 12th was a date from the ones that we sent her that sounded good to her. But if you all wanted to, I hate to say this, but if you all wanted to back it up later, you could get the newer data, or she could come and present on last year's and then we'd still get the newer data. Maybe we could request that she also send us additional information with that.
I mean, I feel like that is one of the most important parts for us, is determining not just how many complaints, but who.
Yeah.
And I think without that, we're still going to be in the same boat that we were in just looking for answers.
Yeah.
Without that data, I don't think it's. And I
skewed.
And I don't think we need to be waiting on her presentation training for that. Is that a limitation her office has? I don't understand why she couldn't, kind of what you're saying, go ahead and give us what she had from before, but that particular piece we've looked for, and then going forward, she'll know that we always want to know. And that's part of what we're looking for.
And I think what happens is, I'm not sure who actually pulls the data itself. I don't know that she does, or if she just does the presentations and kind of, I'm not sure like how that works, because we do have data people that pull specific, that are experts in pulling the data piece. And then she's a trainer and she's an expert in that area. So I'm not sure, I don't know how that divides out as far as that way, but we could definitely ask her. I think it would come in the form, I don't think it would be part of the racial and ethnic disparities spreadsheet that we get sent, but I think we could ask her to update the PowerPoint that she does for trainings that has that additional information with the number of juveniles, because that's what she includes in hers, is the number. She includes not only the number of charges, but also the number of juveniles, so we can compare and see how that breaks down. But I hear what you're saying. We could ask her to just send us that information.
Right, yeah.
And
Training
you're right.
could happen more than before the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
I could have a 5-minute email training that would be maybe very effectively helpful for our group.
Well,
It's something we've been asking for.
Yeah.
journey
And,
for
and
so-
I was slow in getting my request, but I have formatted something and I've sent it to you, and I think that we've been trying to do this now. And if the answer is now, it might, I'm hearing both, yes, she can get that number, and we don't know who pulls it. And we need to understand who can get us that number. And we need to have it from last year, is it last year's, it'd be
425, yeah.
But that's the new data that's coming out, right, the 24 year.
Right.
Right.
So we need it for the year before now,
As
because we've
well.
been looking at it for a year, right? And that way we can see a pattern, a difference, a change.
So if we had the presentation on the 12th, she would be able to come in person, and I think she'd be able to lead a pretty good in-person conversation. Maybe she'd be able to send the PowerPoint out ahead of time so people can
That would
look
be
at it.
wonderful.
That we could request that. Now, I know that she's been out for some personal, like for the next couple weeks, she's out.
Can you ask her point blank if she is able to get that data?
Ahead of time. We can.
And that we want the
I'll
last
ask
year
her
as well.
that.
Yeah.
And if not, maybe then if she isn't able to get it ahead of that presentation, then maybe y'all would want to consider backing it up for a few weeks or something like that. That would be the other
Well,
option, I guess.
is it accessible? I mean, I guess that's.
Yeah,
the-
let's
if
start
she
with
can
the,
get it, right?
can she get it? And if she can't, who does she direct you to? What is
Well,
the
I-
name?
I think the issue is it comes out right around that time. So like the first data will be coming out, but then she would need time to put together, the additional.
But we want last year's.
Yeah, we're 2 years ago.
2 years ago
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's already there somewhere, right? There's an old PowerPoint somewhere.
Right, yeah.
And we just want that one as a baseline as well as prepping this. And once we kind of figure out how that system can work smoothly, we won't have to push them.
So I think for the 12th, she would have both sets of numbers for last year and probably the new set for, it's gonna come out right around that time, the new set, but she might not have the breakdown per juvenile. But maybe she could send that as a follow-up.
We can get the breakdown from fiscal year 3-4.
Yes.
Yeah. And just to say, I will say, just Lorraine and Hannah have been really putting a lot of effort into this. I'll just will say that to try to get this information. So I do, Judge, appreciate you wanting clarity, and we're gonna keep doing this.
Well, and I think that part of it is again, whether or not we're at a stage where we have to ask for a release of information to get something because no one is sharing with us. And if that's where it goes, it needs to go through kind of a different look, a different format. So if it's not in somebody's ability or not their responsibility or not their, whatever the answer is, we just need to get to the next point of, okay, then how do we chase it down? I think it is helpful for our county and our community to understand what we're really dealing with
And to be honest, it will be frustrating, on the planning committee again this year. It's like, okay, we're meeting again and really we don't have a lot of new information. We have these numbers again, but we still, like Sergeant Loveland said, there's really no moving forward with a lot of different recommendations, so.
Thank you all for working so hard on it.
Yeah, and there is no doubt, we all know how hard you two work.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question.
Any questions, comments for people virtually as to, I know this kind of went into, which it always does, right? That's why we need the full 4 hours. Like we need as much time as she can give us, it'd be extremely helpful.
George was pushing for at least half a day, if not longer, for this
Yeah.
training. So I would think we'll hold the room and schedule, a shorter period of time for everyone, but I will hold the room for longer so that folks can dig in.
And lastly, I'd like to know, who have I enticed to join me?
I was waiting, like, so wait, it started with who wants to be on the committee. We went down a rabbit hole. I was like, so I've been on monitoring twice, so let me switch it up.
There you go.
Okay, no.
You can add me, Angie.
Yay, of course, I was hoping, okay. Alrighty. Well, I have two right now. I'll let you mull it over and fight it out and then, let me know.
Is anyone online who would like to join the planning committee? You are welcome. I know we've had, Jeremy Bricker has been a former member and even chair.
Call it out.
I don't see a hand.
I'm always happy to help out, but I was just allowing others to jump forward if they want
Oh,
to.
okay, thank
I don't want to
you.
take up all the space, so.
That wasn't a yes or a no.
No, that's political, I like
Good
it.
question mark next to that one, yeah.
And you don't have to make decisions now, obviously, you just understand how important this committee is. I mean, extremely important. We can't even get to the other parts of our committee until we start addressing the data and the assessment, all that kind of stuff. We've got to filter through all of that to truly understand what's going on in our county and juveniles. It's a lot, it's information, but you're on this council for that reason. So I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm just trying to get involved in one of the committees so that you can kind of get your feet wet in understanding what we do.
Two other pieces of it is that we have do some community resource mapping for youth resources, and so we have created a youth resource guide that we will, make sure is up to date this fall. So if folks, we could even send it out to everyone in the JCPC to make sure if they have any comments, they can provide updates about programs that have either changed or opened, or if they have closed, making sure that that's up to date. And then normally the planning committee does produce a report for December's meeting, and that is part of our annual cycle, looking at the local strengths, assets, risks, and needs for young people, and both in our community and as individuals. And that report will still be produced from the planning committee's work. And it normally includes and it will include an assessment of kind of the priorities for funding to serve young people who are court involved and at risk of court involvement. We don't, at the moment, all the programs that are JCPC funded were funded for a 2-year cycle that started in July 1. So at this moment in time, we don't anticipate having a request for proposals go out. At the same time, the council has had changes in programs, and programs face all sorts of different changes and challenges sometimes. So if there were to be a program that had a major challenge or closed, which has happened before, then the work of the planning committee still does feed into what those funding priorities are, and helps to provide the community at large with an understanding of what this council recommends as priority areas for funding as well.
And I'm more than happy to lend a helping hand to the planning committee as well, so you can count me in.
Thank you, Michael.
Before we move on, just one more, I promise I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole, but Judge, I really appreciated your request for that PowerPoint early. I will be at the West Virginia Pitt football game on the 13th. So that incorporates the 12th as well. I'd love to be able to take a look at it because I won't be able to attend. So
I think that's a great idea.
Are you be reading it while the game is going on?
So if hopefully earlier than the 12th, so I can look. Will not be. No, yeah.
And this would be a special meeting of the JCPC, so it will be announced publicly and publicly invited with Cape coordination and at least recorded and available online after that.
And we'll make sure to make notes and stuff and pass anything along for any members who can't be present, obviously, for that meeting. We'll take notes, and for any of the questions that we have, or if y'all have any of them, we'll get those answered and document those as well and send those out as a debrief after.
And for anyone who's newer, I know y'all have some newer members. For anyone who's newer, the racial and ethnic disparities data overall, the purpose of looking at that, I know we dove into a more extensive conversation about it, but just the overall purpose is to be able to look at juvenile within the juvenile justice system at different, both at the, before they've entered the system, those who are at risk, like who have been referred to the system, those that, whether they're or not they're approved for court or on a diversion plan, what happens after their court. Sometimes once they go to court, they're still, judge will sometimes, they'll have a plan, you know, as part of that they're fulfilling. So at different points in the system, we look to see for all of our data ethnically, how does that break down? And are those equal entry points for each of those pieces of along that journey? Because our goal is, we know that overall diverting youth when it's possible, especially for those lower level offenses, the least entry into the juvenile justice system, the better. And so we want to make sure that everyone is being treated equally and fairly, equitably at that beginning point if they have lower level offenses being referred. And so that's a goal statewide that we look at with juvenile justice to see. And so that data kind of helps us look at Buncombe County. And as you all gathered from the conversation, sometimes you can have a few juveniles who might have, especially when you get into, if they've got more serious charges, often they'll have a lot of different charges. And so it's hard to ferret out sometimes what is the number of juveniles who are, or if it's just a few juveniles with a lot of charges, suddenly you've got a lot of charges there. So it's a lot to kind of look through, but that's the purpose of doing that, is to look at our system and to see how is that working out for all the juveniles in our community.
All right. So the next committee would be monitoring.
Yes. I am here to excite you about participating in the monitoring committee.
Yes.
Here is what is involved. From early January until we make a report at the February meeting, yes. We go in pairs usually to visit each of the programs that is funded by the JCPC. And we have forms from the programs and forms that we bring to the table to really track if folks are meeting their goals and expectations, and if they need help and support in doing that, and how we can, encourage them to get up to speed if need be. And then we make recommendations to the allocations committee based on that. In terms of the time commitment, I would say between early January and mid-February, maybe 4 to 6 hours if you volunteer to visit at least 2 different programs. So yeah, come on aboard.
And I would love to add to that. This is a great one if you're a newbie, because you really get to learn more about the programs. I think it makes it much more real. So if you are someone who's sort of newer to the board, this might be a good fit. Absolutely.
Sign me up again.
Excellent.
Okay.
And if I could just add a piece to that, and I hate, you're also gonna do monitoring as well, Dr. Now?
I'll pull a Jeremy. I will assist and help out how I can.
Okay.
But just scheduling wise, I don't wanna say yes and then I'm not able to, but I'm definitely here to support, help out however I can.
And the reason I say that is we're bringing a wealth of knowledge to these organizations. And as we sat and spoke with an organization, several great things came from the 3 of us for that, on how they can get better. And it wasn't just, hey, here's what you have to do through JCPC, but here's an opportunity, right, to maybe change a couple of things in order. So it's awesome to go and see. I'm sorry,
yes,
I'm never gonna be on the plan. I can't.
It's not awesome to read all that
data.
Never say never, friend.
Yeah, I think I know my limitations. But to be able to go and actually see the organizations doing what they're doing is really rewarding. So any new member, we could take 4 people to each one if we needed to. So love to have you.
I think Brandon Priester may have already volunteered himself, but I'm we'll
Follow up with
confirm that.
Brandon, I mean, it's well said that this is, like, planning is all data, it's all a lot of reading. If you like reading, you like data, you like number, all that kind of stuff, and breaking it down, that's what the planning is. If it's monitoring, if you're wanting to dive in, right, and get to actually see these programs at work and what they do, then that's the program for you. If you're financially sound and want to and understand all of that kind of stuff and make those decisions, that's what allocations is for. Luckily this year, we may not need that with the 2 years that we've funded for all our programs. So it would allow people that would be in thinking of allocations as that to perhaps participate in these other programs. I've done all of them and will be on the back burner in case anyone else, I don't want to take up other people's opportunities to do this. I strongly recommend all of them. And it's wonderful. I did it with Pivot Point, and it was amazing. I mean, it just sold me. You just don't get an understanding until you get in there and then you start seeing everything and speaking to them. And so it really is an experience that you've got to have if you're on this council, at least at some point while you're here.
So I don't want to interrupt the conversation. It's hard when you're online because you can't tell who's talking, but I'm happy to participate at where I'm needed. My schedule can be a little bit limited, my availability, but I'll do my best to participate fully.
Becca, anything planning, monitoring?
I'm happy to help where you need the help the most. Yeah. Whatever works.
Okay, I'm planning at this point. I've received a lot, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you have data you want to share with planning committee, then you're always welcome. But it sounds great.
Sounds like monitoring.
Like monitoring? Okay, great.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
And I will say that even if you're not on the committee, you're always welcome to come to committee meetings and join in, you know, so.
Yeah. We don't always include everyone on the JCPC on the emails related to each committee, but if there is a committee that you're interested in keeping tabs on so you're able to join if possible, do let the committee chair, myself know so that we can make sure you're on the emails.
And you've got time, right? Monitoring isn't until after planning and all that kind of stuff. So you got some time to think about it and see if your schedule works out. All right, after monitoring is allocations or not? Angel, and take away what you may or may not have.
I may not have anything for the allocations committee because they were funded for 2 years.
Come in.
That is what, of course. Well, I'll tell you this plan. So anyone that was on the allocations committee, I think that helping out in the other committees would be great. That is why I'm wanting to help out with the planning committee. I haven't ever helped out with the planning committee. When I started off on this commission, I was voluntold to be on the monitoring. And I'm glad I was. It helped understand what the programs were about, and I'm glad. But being voluntold, no, that hasn't happened lately.
No, it hasn't.
You do that out of friendship. But the allocations committee is just that, we allocate the funds. This year, the programs asked for funds that were less than what we had to give out. So we were able to discuss how we wanted to divvy up the rest of the funds. We also had a program. Do we have a van? Is that allocations committee or is that just the?
Yep.
We had some extra funds come in that we also divvied out for programs to receive vehicles. So it's a really good program. I mean, it's really good committee. We just may not be doing anything. It is a 1 day. It's not broken up into a couple of days like planning. It's a whole day.
And it seems like annually, there's usually a hiccup near the end where we have to do some kind of correction on special allocations. That's sort of the time-sensitive crusher, but not typically, you don't know where it's coming from.
So I would say join the allocations committee. This time you may not have a lot to do, but it would be great because then we would already have a committee in place for when we do have a problem or a hiccup.
To be on standby.
Standby. That's it for the allocations. Anybody have any questions?
I'll be on standby.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Look at everyone. You have enjoyed.
We got tons of people on standby.
Yeah. Standby.
Well, we believe in our programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
How awesome was it that we had more money than they requested and we were able to give them more?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that team over there is gonna make sure that never happens again.
Let's talk amongst ourselves now.
Oh, we still gave it out.
Any questions, comments, concerns, anything from anyone virtual? And if not, I think that leads kind of directly to our programs. Y'all fill in for Sylvia since she went ahead. I'd love to hear what's going on with all the programs, gearing up for school, all this kind of stuff. Any great stories, all that, just fill us in on what's going on.
And I apologize, I'm having to take off to something, so I'm sorry, I was trying to make it, but I've got a parent that I have to deal with. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Richard, start in the back.
Yes, sir. So we have some rack cards now.
Nice.
That I wanted to share with y'all. So if I could do that, I will get you guys to cover these folks.
And we'll say as he's passing out, piggyback on Sylvia, the programs came in to the sheriff's office, SROs, and did an amazing job. Obviously, the push is more referrals. They got to introduce themselves, talk about the program, just get more one-on-one time with our SROs. They're the ones, as well as with school counselors, therapists, things like that, that we need to be selling referrals to, because they're the ones going to be communicating to the parents and to the kids. We know things will happen in school, so that's the first hoop. And so I want to appreciate and thank y'all for coming out, taking time out of y'all's day. SROs loved it. They had, at least for debrief afterwards, they talked about all these ideas that kind of spurred hope for them, right? And so I think we'll continue to do that every year to make sure we get new SROs annually as they kind of come through. So we'll probably try to start incorporating that as well, hopefully every summer, to get things going off at the beginning of the school year.
Great.
Take it away.
And is there a city SRO meeting coming up on a Friday? Is that tomorrow?
That's for Asheville City.
I'll reach out to you. We'll set something up.
Okay.
We've had meetings with most of the other folks that we just didn't get to this past year. So
all right,
great. Very likes to have that intimate one-on-one. So we don't have as many SROs trying to collect them all. I can get them all in for an hour or two, depending on what we need.
That'd be great. Yeah, we always appreciate that. And we'll go out to the schools and follow up at the schools as well to get with the administration. So that's good. You'll see on the Hope for the Future card on the back is JCPC is mentioned, because it's really, that's the program where we connect most with restorative practices. We are switching locations from the Trinity United Methodist Church where we're currently at. Okay. We're transitioning to a new location. I will let you know as soon as that is finalized what our new location is. But we should have that up and running in the next couple weeks so we can have the after school program going on, the Hope for the Future program. And then, of course, working out of the same spot with the JCPC. So that was great. We had Terry Masiello visit with us, which was great over the summer. So she got to see the program. She was the Restorative Justice North Carolina lead. So that was excellent to have that. Thank you, Lorraine. And we're moving, and the band is the other rack card. John R. Hayes High Stepping Major and Drum Corps. They perform regularly, like twice a weekend these days. It's just they're on a schedule. So, and we're excited that the overlap between Hope for the Future and that healing program, the John R. Hayes High Stepping Major and Drum Corps, and JCPC, the overlap is really great. So we're excited for the combination and getting everyone involved. That's the only update. I have, but thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Is there a schedule? You said that they're performing. Is that already laid out for the next couple of months?
They're performing tomorrow evening at the United Way's block party. Yeah, at the block party. And then on Saturday, shoot, I should know where they're performing on Saturday, but I forget. I apologize.
I think Asheville Mall.
Asheville Mall, that's for that event.
They're great men doing great things.
Thank you, Dr. No. But it just, and I'll try to get a calendar up for them. But please come out and catch them. They're about 70 members or more strong now, and we're gonna add horns.
Oh,
yes.
I was thinking of bringing him in here until you said the number and then no.
So we're excited. It really is giving them the opportunity. We have a new drum instructor that's connected to all the HBCUs. It's just phenomenal. So we're excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen? Oh, sorry. Robin, go ahead.
So I'm pleased to announce that both of our programs are starting out strong. Our Kids at Work program, which is our interpersonal skill building program around the culinary arts, we currently have 10 participants. We do have 6 open referrals waiting for intake, so we should be up to 16. But I am super excited to say that our connection program is up and running strong. It is now not only music, but also video production as well. We currently have 4 youth that are participating in the program. We are still holding them at UNCA. And I think Kim had something to say as well.
Hey everybody, this is Kim Castadio. I really just wanted to give a shout out to Umoja. We partnered with them this summer in the Connection program, and that has been a phenomenal partnership. So thank you to Richard and thank you to Mr. Hayes. They sent us several referrals for the Connection program, and we did some really awesome projects. And I would love to share some of the work that the students have done over the summer with y'all, hopefully at the next JCPC meeting.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Kim.
It's amazing to hear program referrals. I almost brought chills. I was like, that's exactly kind of what we were wanting. So kids don't fall through the gaps. Y'all see them and know where you can direct them. Robin, you said 6 open referrals for Kids at Work?
I did. We have 6 that are awaiting intake and 10 that are current in the current population.
Do we know where these referrals are coming from?
I can tell you, if you give me a second.
I wondered if I could just follow up with something Richard said. He said that Terry Masiello came and visited their program and got to see some of the work they're doing. And she sent an email afterwards, and she was just very glad to see the work that you all are doing and how your circles were working, and to hear the responses of the youth and how the sort of process was working within those groups, and this accountability for what was taking place as a group and people shared. I mean, she's been doing this work a long time. I was very heartened to just hear her response to that and how much she appreciated the approach y'all were taking.
Thank you, Lorraine. It was great to get to meet her and have her in the program and to get her to see our restorative justice practices process. And it's a relationship that will keep strong. So and for us to be able to go and meet with other folks across the state would be great. Thank you.
So to answer your question, we had 4 of those referrals were from DJJ, 1 from mental health and 1 from Spark.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kim, you said that there's 4 in the Connections program. How many are you able to have within that program?
So This summer at times we can have about 12 students in there. We had such an influx of people in the summer that I was regularly involved in the program as well. But it was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Kim. All right. Thank you for being patient, Karen.
No problem.
What you got?
Same as Kim, we were all involved with summer programming because of the influx of referrals. Actually, I'm just gonna snapshot Teen Court and Earn and Learn together if I may, but both programs are well, Teen Court in particular, is down from where the referrals were last year. We observed quite a few this summer that came through. The snapshot I want to give, I wish the judge was here to hear this, but the numbers for all of us, I think, were low last year, whether it was Helene or just great behavior in the school system and the court system. But this snapshot is that currently Earn and Learn has already surpassed where they were last year in numbers. And the reason I wanted to give this snapshot, and Angel, you'll appreciate this, is in Teen Court, we have 8 males, and in Earn and Learn, we have 16 males. And the snapshot I want to give you, the sergeant and I spoke briefly on this morning, is it's more high school right now. We have 16 males that are over 16. So if you follow or ride the data wave currently, Yazzie risk needs higher levels of care from last year and the year before are not going to be a true reflection of what's happening right now with us. So one of the things that we found interesting and in our narrative is that we already have North Buncombe High School and Asheville High School sending us direct referrals, which is exactly what you wanted to do. So just to give you that quick snapshot, it's covering intervention, prevention, diversion, and now in some cases, we're going to track them in probation. And I don't know if you'd see this as a success, but a child who came through Teen Court is 16 years old and now on probation in one of our other programs, who had an incident. We appreciate that Deja is on leave, but we also appreciate that she's staying with our program. She happened to be in with this. Our whole staff was doing wraparound services with Mr. Lance and DJJ. Between building his character, flash resume, Teen Court, jury service, which I mark my words, this child is going to be working for the judge one day, or at least the court system, I have a feeling. Just in that position, not knowing how his parents are going to be when he gets home. Tight situation. We're utilizing our very own Brandon Priester. He's going to be doing mentor as well as Dwayne Parton from the community. And Mr. Lance, more than likely. So these wraparound services are just showing the impact that you guys make on the community. And he's going to turn 17 while he's with us. So where we weren't necessarily getting an influx of 16, 17, and 18-year-olds from Raise the Age, in that riding of the wave, the 5th year, I have a feeling that high schools are getting ready to see this. If you follow the summer statistics, Sergeant can probably speak a little more on that, but I have a feeling that the high schools are going to be doing some direct referrals. And we'll do our best to track them by hand. I know that the supervisors, the chief, and myself, we meet once a month with JJTC, so we really do count them by fingers if NC Allies isn't, current with that. So we'll keep you posted, and I just wanted to give that as I was playing with everything, looking for stats. That was one thing that stuck out, was we have not had that in a while over the summer. So just a little bit on that. Other than that, our programs are both up and running, and we have massive trainings going on both in Earn and Learn and Teen Court, both in September. So it's going to be a busy month. That's all I have.
And make sure to tell us again when those Teen Court sessions are, so that individuals within this council can at least be present and see what goes on in there.
Especially for Rebecca and Drew and Michael, this is a great time. It's every 2nd and 4th Monday, and it's on the 4th floor of the courthouse. You want to be there before the bailiffs lock the door, so we encourage you to be there around 4:45. Obviously, this coming Monday on the 25th, we are having a training session for our volunteers. We will not be holding a teen court session because it's the first day of school. So, and if you are interested, we can send out that notification after next week and let everybody have a reminder of when that is. So.
Karen, are y'all still doing community service at Shiloh?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. And Rathbun House and.
Can I hash this out? Do you want me to? My 401k? It's got a little bit more in it now.
Robin, you're on.
I don't think that's community service.
And Deja, if you want to interject, Deja helps run teen court on Monday nights, especially if we pick up with truancy. And that's one of the things we're working on is having these referrals in and ready with the SROs and admin on day 10. That was an interest that we've been talking about as a council for a while instead of getting them on day 55. This way they can have the finger on the pulse and we can get in there on day 14 when the letters go out. We'll have that. But Deja is sitting in, we have started judge review, judge cases, and in the overflow, Deja runs those peer reviews as well. So it's really nice to have our senior intern on hand, but she's also been sitting in and participating with community service on Saturday. So Deja, if you have any input.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to go to teen court sessions. It's such an amazing opportunity and it's always so interesting, and it's really good to see not only kids part of the program perform so well in the jury, but also kids in the community that want to build up their resume or just want to do something in the legal sphere, be a part of the jury and be a part of this process. Really promising. So it's a really good opportunity to go to. I would recommend getting there at like 4:40 because it gets a little dicey once it gets closer to 5 because people are leaving. And then about Shiloh, yes, there is actually a community service this Saturday at Shiloh Community Garden. So that's going to be really fun.
Oh, one of the things that I did want to bring up, because I know we didn't meet last month about updates, but it's in our narrative as well. After Helene, Shiloh was going through some difficulties keeping up with all of their supplies, et cetera. So we were able to work with them and they are storing our wheelbarrows. Lowe's stepped in and is helping us out and matched us. So we presented them with new steel four-wheeled wheelbarrows and rakes, and our kids utilize those every single week and weekend. So we felt pretty honored to do that. And you guys all were on the card, so thank you very much. So as we move forward, we'll hit you guys up with any things that we are needing, because we are getting matches. We had more funds to be able to utilize pizzas and all kinds of services with Legos and those kinds of things. And those will get a little tighter as this year picks up, obviously, because we're at 29 youth right now. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. Thanks, Deja.
And teen court deals with truancy. I know that we had talked about that was kind of, I'd made an asterisk beside that because that's always an issue. And is there other programs that specifically, I know teen court does truancy, addressing it, there's obviously a backlog that we're continuing, and then addressing it for the following year, I guess, becomes a bit moot, I guess, at sometimes. I guess speaking from teen courts and handling truancy, so many issues that you got to address, but then also on the back end, the tutoring, right? Because if they're truant, they're not going, and then having to make sure that somehow they're getting that educational component. Can you just speak briefly as to how y'all address that? Because it seems like a big concern that we all are, because if they're out of school, they're probably not getting the academics, and then on that, they're probably getting in trouble. Kind of leads down a road, that sort of holistic approach y'all treat for truancy with teen court.
Mm-hmm. And Deja, chime in at any time, because I know that you've been sitting in with a lot of these truancy cases. This year was a lot lower than last year, but speaking on just the wraparound for last year and this year, because last year at this time, I think we had 34 truant clients still active right now. And this year we had, hold on, I can tell you exactly. We had 5 active for this summer. So that's telling you that the school-based referrals were, I don't know if it was because of Helene, things seem a little skewed in that area because I think truant letters were a little more lenient this, and I don't know if there's someone from the school system that can speak on that, but letters did go out at 14 days. At the 55-day mark, there was usually something else in place, higher levels of care possibly. So that is something we'll have to track. But on a typical level with these 5 students, they would come in for truancy either with the direct referral and handled in our court system and or in the school system. They would be making those days up on Saturdays that they missed. So to my understanding, the 5 truant individuals we have went on and are going on to the next grade. 3 of those high school and 2 remaining in the same school. So
Thank you.
we do track those by hand, but after 6 months to a year, unless it's word of mouth or in staffing, it's a little hard to follow. But.
Thank you. Pivot.
Yeah. My big announcement really is to introduce Louis to everybody because we now have a full-time community liaison, and Louis's main job is really to be able to go into the schools, go into parents' homes, meet with kids, try to keep that retention, also keep the paperwork. I love to tell this story. We have a lot of kids in our prevention program who start as a couple, and then throughout the 10 weeks we'll break up, and then so one will fall off and come out. And so our hope is, or a friend group has a rupture. So our hope is like if a kid is missing 1 to 2 sessions, Louis gets to go into the school and sit down and be like, hey, let's get you back in.
Nice.
I will say obviously the summer is a slower time for us because we are in the school systems, but however this year we had some kids from Community High and AC Reynolds who actually had some kind of struggles at home who asked to continue with our program. So we actually created our first summer female identified cohort who are graduating today.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we will definitely be at Community High and AC Reynolds. We actually did a collaboration with Unite. So we have a new cohort starting with Spanish-speaking kids. We have 8 on board that start Saturday. So yeah, I think that our goal is like by the 2nd week of September to get those other 2 cohorts open. Also open for some JCPC DJJ referrals so we can create a group. I'm hoping the SROs, once school starts too, that would be another referral base. So we're ready. Yeah, and mainly because Louis will be attending a lot of these meetings, either without me or with me. So his face will be here, and I just wanted him to meet all you guys as we get into monitoring and all that kind of stuff as well. Anything I skipped that you want to add?
I don't think so. I just like a little bit of an aside about me. I started as a guide with Pivot Point, so I've seen kind of like, that piece of this and the direct contact that we have with these young people in our community. So it's such a privilege now to have had that view, but then also now to have this perspective and be in this seat to where I can really go out and help in a different capacity and support within the school systems and the counselors at the schools, so that really their piece is, here's the referral and now the rest is on me to make it happen and really get them in the program. I'm super excited about the retention piece as well, because as a guide, I saw exactly what Ty is talking about happening, and with the time and commitment of the guide and everything that they do have is on their plate, there's just not that extra space to really make that additional contact that's sometimes needed. So I'm really excited to be able to be in this position and get to work as the school year starts.
And a lot of our referrals come directly from the guidance counselors, so we're taking all of that work off of them, so they can like identify the kiddo, and we can actually then go into the school and or get the paperwork from wherever it's needed, so that hopefully they're not having to be a little overwhelmed as well.
Yeah, trying to create less work for them through this position and just an easier, a smoother transition process into the program.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's good that you're transitioning, learning more within Pivot Point, doing more, and the Pivot's adjusted and figured out that there's a a sort of catch-up piece in order to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks as well. And so, as always, expected great things from Pivot, so it's good to hear. All right. That's with the program updates. Lorraine.
Let's see, I'll try to make it brief because I know y'all are well on time, but for the purple sheet, if you look, I know we referenced that most of the programs you'll see did serve fewer youth than usual, and I think that's directly related to Helene. And then Karen also brought up other good points too about the ages and population. The one that the only one that actually exceeded numbers was the after school component for Pivot Point, the newer one. And only 6 youth were actually funded in that. So that's probably easy to exceed, but they well exceeded it. So good job with that. And Louis, glad you're in there as a liaison position. I'm glad I was able to go ahead and do that because I know that was one of the requests last year you all had for funding, and vans kind of took precedent at that time for vehicles needed after the storm. As far as measurable objectives, the orange sheet here, and I'm not sure if those got sent out, but we can certainly send them out for those of you who are online to be able to see those afterwards. Just a couple comments about measurable objectives. You'll note the goals need to be at least 70%, but you'll notice some of them vary. They go anywhere from 70% up to 100%. So the programs set those depending on the specifics of their program and the goal they want to meet. They can adjust those when they do their program agreement. And you'll see varying results. The fewer numbers, of course, you have, the easier it is for those to be skewed. But you can see the actual versus, so those are a little bit different. Most of the program types have certain measurable objectives, such as satisfactorily completing the service or not having any new adjudications after, or new referrals to DJJ. So most of those are similar, but each program type also has different ones depending on that. Those are set in NC Allies for each program type, depending on that spec type. And then in addition to that, programs can actually add ones in if they wish to. So that's all I'm gonna say to that. You're welcome to look at them. And I think there was only one that was slightly below, by a couple of percentage points for one program, but the rest were all met. And then up at the top, you'll see, it will tell you how many they were estimated to serve and how many they actually served. So that's up at the top as well. But you'll also see how many they served and then how many, the answers down below are just for the youth who finished that program by June 30th and where we call them terminated. So if they completed the program, that's what the bottom percentages are based on. You always have carryovers, as you all know, during the summer or in the current fiscal year, like what Aspire talked about with their Connections program. You've got youth starting all the time. So any questions about either of those reports?
And are we able to get those to them virtually? You were saying it, and I was like, I don't know if they've got the purple or
Yeah,
the
I
other
don't know.
sheets.
I guess we can send those out after the meeting.
Okay.
And then just a couple of other quick things. The North Carolina Juvenile Services Association, I can also send this to you, Hannah, to send out. There's a QR code you can scan and a one-page flyer. It's gonna be held in Greensboro. That happens twice a year. It's October 29th through the 31st in Greensboro. And it's usually a Wednesday through a Friday. There are different presentations that happen during that time. It includes folks from court services as well as programs from statewide. So it's a great opportunity to go and kind of meet other programs, hear what other programs are doing, and hear presentations from all different kinds of agencies. I mean, this past year, there were ones on everything from AI to some of the mental health changes and breakdowns statewide. So there's lots of good information there. Just know about that, and there's reduced It's at the Embassy Suites in Greensboro, so we'll send that out so y'all will have more information, but that's the 29th through the 31st. And then another thing that is rolling out for DHHS, and Rebecca may have more of an update on this in the future. I'm not, if she's still with us, I'm not sure if she is, but there is a new platform called Talkspace that's for justice-involved youth or those affected by the justice system that is rolling out. There's a press release I can send out to you all to learn more about it, but it's for 13 to 17-year-olds in North Carolina. And there is an app, and it's to connect youth at least virtually with a therapist if that's needed. So it can be in addition to other services, but that can be another resource. And with that app, there are also resources that they can connect to 24/7. So in addition to a live person virtually that they can connect with as a therapist, there are also resources.
Lorraine and
And
Angie,
it's free.
I know Angie, you were able to share or track down the referral process. Is that okay to share with everybody and
Absolutely, yes,
programs
because
as
that
well?
came out from the state.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely had sent it to Sylvia, but yes, please.
Yeah, and this is a new thing, so we're all trying to figure it out in a recent phone call. Conversation. And then I'll just say two other quick things. I apologize if we're going over, so I understand if people need to leave, but just real quickly. I just want to do a shout out to Court Services is once again helping out on a voluntary basis with detention centers and YDCs. Hopefully in the short run, it's for a good it's always been for a good purpose, but for this time it's voluntary, but it's for a good cause. There were so many new employees hired over a fairly quick period of time, because if you all remember a couple of years ago, those numbers were very low in facilities. And they're still not fully staffed, but much better. And so a lot of those new folks who have started needed to still complete basic training. And so while they are getting basic training, I just want to say thank you to Court Services again for sending people to facilities.
We didn't send
to help.
anybody because we're short-staffed too,
Yeah.
but yeah, kudos to those that went.
Kudos, and I know other further west folks I've been hearing some reports on that, so thanks. And then one other quick thing, I just want you all to know the remediation process for juveniles has gotten underway. That's something that started. I think statewide there have been 3 or 4 juveniles so far that are in that process. I think the 4th is a new referral in the last few weeks. And all of the chief court counselors and court supervisors and community programs, we've all been done a training in that just to kind of understand more about how that's rolling out. So off to a good start. They're anticipating maybe as many as 100 to 200 maybe statewide, but at this point it's just starting out. And for those of you who maybe weren't here in past meetings, those are for juveniles that do not have the capacity to stand trial. And it's a curriculum, they work one-on-one with a person, and Methodist Homes is providing those they've got 1 in each quadrant in 4 sections of the state. So 1 person to work one-on-one with anyone referred to that program by a judge. So that's all I've got.
Lorraine, can I ask a question? Do you have any more of the NC Allies or spec training on the books coming up?
Yeah, that's something I think that's an additional need. And if programs have needs for additional training, please reach out. But NC Allies is one I think that would be a good one. Okay. And a good one online, so we could look at it.
I was gonna say, the one online, I had my interns and new board members take it, and it's still current and really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the Yazzie one too.
Okay.
I see.
Okay, thank you.
Are you thinking of the teen court one that we did, or just the
NC Allies all together?
Yeah. I'm glad to do those with y'all.
Thank you.
All right, I know we're a little bit over, so thank y'all for, who all's here that's still in attendance for being here. If there's any public comments, any announcements, anything that's going on this weekend, obviously we've got the marching band that's happening. Anything else, any comments, please feel free to speak now so we can all understand what's about to happen or is going to be happening here.
Tomorrow afternoon, from 5 to 8 on City County Plaza, that's their correct time, right? I think. United for Youth, block party, so come on out. There'll be lots of youth performers and lots of youth serving organizations showing up and showing out and having activities and resources for young people. I think there's an event on Saturday at the Ashland Mall too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. So, Men Doing Good Together is having their back to school festival, Family Fun Day, 11 to 5 at the Ashland Mall on the upper deck. So we'll be outside. There's gonna be live entertainment, a car show, a skating rink, school supplies, and mental health awareness. So, yeah, they're gonna turn the deck, I guess, to a skating rink. So come on out, the good old days. So that's gonna be Saturday. There'll be resources there, resource tables as well. So yeah, those are 2 things to keep y'all busy this weekend.
Then if I could just add, it's the back, the old parking deck around back, we'll have the entire top of that. We'll be over there with some resources, but don't go to the new bulk side around the back up top. There's a lot of room up there.
Nice, yeah, that's why I said it's like skating rink, that makes sense, there's a lot of space.
You gonna bring your roller skates?
You know, I thought
From the
about
late
it,
80s?
but no.
Okay.
I'm also not DJing. Yeah. Regular old Craig.
Yeah, plenty of gun laws still.
We do have plenty of
Okay,
dogs, yeah.
I thought so.
Brandon Priester couldn't be here today, but he did ask me to share that he's been hosting a youth service provider roundtable with Land of Sky Regional Council, and he was doing that before Hurricane Helene and is gonna get that restarted next month. So on Friday, September 19th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Land of Sky Regional offices. I can send out that information as well. He collects registrations to help plan for lunch.
And then one, this isn't necessarily directed to youth, but it might have some good information. Overdose Awareness Day, August 31st. I think it's at Aston Park. I'm trying to find out for sure. So, but that'll be I think an all-day event. So there'll be tables and resources there as well, providing just different information and activities for overdose awareness.
If people want to spend the last week of October at state conferences, they could start out the week at the North Carolina Office of Violence Prevention Conference. It'll be the 2nd annual conference convening for the Office of Violence Prevention. That's a partnership between DPS and DHHS, but housed within DPS, and bringing together folks across the state who are working on violence prevention efforts in community. So we'll have some folks heading there, and I'll send out the registration link for that. And then if you wanted to start in Raleigh and then go to Greensboro to join the Youth Services Association conference, if I got that correct.
Yeah.
Okay. DJJ conference.
Because it's right on your way home, so why not?
All right, is there anything virtually online that anyone's still there? Is it just Deja?
We got some other folks hanging out.
Okay, I couldn't,
I'm here.
sorry, I just couldn't see anyone else.
I'm here too.
Is there anything else virtually, any announcements, anything of that nature that anyone would like to say before we adjourn?
One last thing, they moved it.
Okay.
It's back, they moved it back to Carrier Park. So it'll be at Carrier Park, August 31st. It's always August 31st every year, so it's a yearly event.
What is that one?
The Overdose Awareness Day.
All day, August 31st, Curio Park. Overdose awareness. All right. Without any further comments or announcements, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
First.
I moved.
I'm like,
Second, I think we got it. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Everyone cross fingers that school goes great at the start of it. And we'll see y'all here coming up.